what we have now got is, that with whatever details I have given you, we have to see the two different laws that we are having for friction. The first law of friction, which is there, is the very definition of a friction itself. The first law tells us that the frictional force always opposes the motion, better put relative motion. So, when two bodies are moving, table is moving with 2 meters per second, the body is moving with 4 meters per second. So 4 meters per second is greater. So 4 minus 2, the relative motion will be equal to 2 meters per second. Opposing that relative motion, we have got the frictional force that will exist. Okay. Then, this is the first law. The frictional force always opposes the relative motion. Or else, before itself, make a mention that relative motion will be referred as motion here afterwards. Then you can say the frictional force opposes the motion of a body. So friction force, always don't say the force, the direction of the force that we have applied. Then opposite. No. Sometimes friction force and our applied force will be in the same direction. Already I have given an example to the same. For the same. Okay. So now we have got the first law of friction where it states that the frictional force always opposes the motion of the body. Right. Now, to study all about the second law, which is very, very important. That is the very heart of this chapter, the second law. And without the result that we get of the second law, no problem on friction can be solved. Let us say that the weight of the body is acting down. We have taken the symbol for weight as W, and we know that it is equal to M into G, and the reaction which is there, because the body is not moving, so weight must be balanced. It is not balanced, then the body will continue to move downwards. So the weight has to be balanced. And for that, when force of the body is acting on the table, for that the table will apply equal and opposite reaction. And if that is 90 degrees to the surface on which the body is resting, then that 90 degrees is called normal direction. The reaction in that direction is therefore called normal reaction. Right. So now let us apply the force. And the intersurface between the body and the table or whatever it is, that friction is existing. And this is the applied force. In this case, let us say that motion is there in the direction of the applied force itself. Not this force. Friction will be there opposing this motion. So opposing that, we will have the frictional force. We have studied so much about the frictional force. And now, if the body is about to move or already in motion, then we have seen that the applied force and the frictional force will balance. Now, the normal force will balance with the weight. Because, how do you know they will balance? Because there is no motion in the upward direction or in the vertical direction. And that is why both should balance. And the weight is equal to mg. So just put it as mg. Okay. When the maximum limit is reached, this is the value of the maximum friction. Then what has been found is that this frictional force is proportional to the normal reaction of the body. This is the second law for frictional forces. Under the second law. The frictional force is always proportional to the normal reaction of the body. If the normal reaction is less, then what happens is the frictional force also will be less. That's why purposely to reduce friction, what we do is we apply one force. So part of this weight will be taken by the applied force, so this will decrease, therefore frictional force also will decrease, because proportional to. Or else what we do is, to make the friction a minimum, this force is applied at an angle. So part of the force will move the body, another part will help the reaction, because of which reaction and the component of our applied force both will balance the weight. So both is equal to the weight, so reaction will be only a part of that will be therefore less. These are the methods that are adopted to reduce friction. If Rn is less, then proportional to the friction force, so that frictional force will also be less. Now, to overcome the proportionality sign, the frictional force will be equal to a constant multiplied by the normal reaction. So, mu is a constant. You see, normally, most of the time, the constants that we have are attributed the name coefficient. And because friction is involved here, that is why this mu, which is a constant, is known as the coefficient of friction. COEFFI. CIENT. The coefficient of friction. All right. Okay, so this is the second equation, where I say it again, mu is a constant and is known as the coefficient of friction. So, mu into R will be the maximum value of the frictional force when the body is about to move, and because of this constant, the maximum value of the friction force is also a constant. That's all. Okay, now you can see that when friction is involved and we keep on increasing the force, the frictional force also will keep on increasing after reaching the maximum value. Further, if you increase the applied force, frictional force will not increase. See, it is remaining there, itself stands still. Okay. So, friction force is there, and you can balance the equations only when the maximum value of friction force is reached, and the maximum value is mu into Rn. Now, there are two frictional forces, or there are two forces when the frictional force and the normal reaction is taken into account. I have already mentioned a number of times that this reaction is also a force. That is what is Newton's third law. To every equation there is an, not equation, sorry, to every action there is an equal and opposite reaction. To every action there is an equal and opposite reaction. This action is a force. That is why if the reaction balances that, then the reaction also has got to be a force. So note this point always. Reaction is also a force. If your body is moving with one velocity, hits another velocity, then the other body also will apply a force that is generated because of this velocity. Same velocity will be generated in the opposite direction. Because of that, the force developed will be equal to the force of the first body. So this is Newton's law. If I hit somebody with one force, then the other person also will hit me with the same force. But physically speaking, it will be a better force. By experience, I am telling you. That is why whatever the other person is saying is wrong, don't involve into argument. Oh, I see, okay, and just get out of that place. Nobody accepts their mistakes. And this is also having a very big connection with the examinations. So it is worthwhile mentioning that. If you feel that the other person is saying something that is not correct, it is wrong, then get out of that place. Don't involve yourself in the argument. You know why? When you argue, little by little, then heated words will be coming out. When heated words come out, that will be staying for a long, long time. You are studying very seriously. Those hot words will now enter into your mind. Your study is disturbed. You lose your patience. And because of that, your memory becomes short. Whatever you have already studied, that also goes out of your mind, man. Let me tell you one thing at this juncture, which is also again subject related. It is subject related, but not connected with the subject. See, the computers that you know, that you work with, it's having the same structure like a human being. You see, from the human being only computer had come out. All of you know the first person, Charles Babbage. He imagined the human brain and whatnot. Then he came out with artificial memory similar to that of the human and so on. So, we have got RAM and ROM. I don't want to explain it because all of you know everything about it. In fact, the people know more about me, about computers. RAM is something which is temporary. Some information, it gets stored in the RAM. And new information comes, the old goes off and new one is stored in RAM. So the data stored in RAM is not permanent. Exactly, even in our brain, that brain has got two sections. One section has the memory which is very much the same as RAM, and the other section has the memory which is same as ROM. There, whatever data stored, that will never go off. Like remembering the relatives, remembering where is the shop, all that is in RAM. So like that, if something untoward, something different happens, it gets stored in ROM, and from RAM it will go to ROM straight. You will never be able to remove it. Even after 30 years also, you will remember the wordings that were used during that heated argument. So that is why it will definitely disturb your studies, and particularly not at this juncture when you are appearing for +1 or +2 or the NEET examinations. Yes. So best thing is, somebody is saying wrongly, go out of that place. You would not have done any mistake, but the other person will ask you, hey, why are you doing that mistake? Oh, I see. I'm sorry, man. Immediately go out of the place. Run away, man. As if you're running a 100-meter race. You would not have done anything. They will ask you, why have you done it? Sorry, go out. Other person would have done a grave mistake. Ask him, why have you done this mistake? I have never done it. You are wrong. You only are doing that mistake. That argument starts. He doesn't want to commit the mistake done by him. You don't want to accept that he has not done any mistake because you know he has done it. So the best thing is, he points out a mistake when you have not done, go out. Say sorry and go out. And the other person has done a mistake, not accepting, okay, I have misunderstood. Go out. Keep a smile and then go out. Don't stand in that place. He will provoke you time and again. So move out of that place. Just say sorry. When you say sorry to somebody, not because, well, it's a matter of prestige or whatsoever, no. When you say sorry, that person who is a little bit excited will cool down. Many people say sorry does not make a dead man alive, but it cools down a alive man, a live man. So sorry is a very nice word in English. Okay. So that's why I'm telling you, my experience. Not done any mistake, somebody is pointing out that it is a mistake. Accept it. Don't argue. Other person has done a mistake, don't ask him why you have done this mistake. He will never accept it. And not only that, if all this is going on with a below average person, he or she will make a propaganda of it all over, such that even though you have not done a mistake, whereas the person all over will have a feeling that we have done a grave mistake. So that is why. Please follow this and see what happens. Because of this, if you maintain it, I give you the guarantee that you will get 8 months extra, man. You want 8 months or not? Then don't argue. Get out. That's all. Alright. So then, coming back to the point. We were discussing about the two equations that are there. One is the normal reaction and the other one is the frictional force. So the normal reaction and the frictional force, these two forces, as you see, will have a resultant. It will be in between. So that resultant, let us see how much it is. Because the angle is 90 degrees, you have to take the same equation that we have studied in vectors. Remember, for two vectors, the resultant is given by r square is equal to p square plus q square plus 2pq cos alpha. That cos alpha here is 90 degrees and cot 90 is 0, so leave out that term. So that is why the ending result will be just r square is equal to p square plus q square. So write that now. So like that here also between the two forces, the result that we find out here also is called the resultant. Because we are finding it from the normal reaction, therefore this resultant is called the resultant reaction. So the resultant reaction is given by the equation R square is equal to P square plus Q square, and let us say P is the normal reaction square plus frictional force square, and that is equal to the normal reaction square, leave it as it is, plus the frictional force. Just now we have seen it is equal to mu r n, so frictional force square will be mu square into r n square. So taking square root both sides, or what you can do is Rn is common for both the terms, so taking it out Rn square, then we get within the brackets 1 plus mu square. Now take the square root. Therefore, the resultant reaction, which is the resultant of the normal reaction and the frictional force, R square becomes Rr, so we have taken the square root. So like that, put this also within the square root. So it will be square root of the normal reaction square and within the brackets 1 plus mu square. Rn square coming out of the bracket will be just Rn, so the resultant reaction will be equal to Rn, and within the square root it is 1 plus mu square. It is quite an important equation. I never said most important, I never said very important, but important. So you should make a note of this. Not only that, this resultant reaction will be in between. Let us find out what is the angle for this resultant reaction. See, whenever in vectors we studied about the resultant, the direction of the resultant also was quite important there. So like that, here also the direction of the resultant, it is a must we find it out. So let us say that it is equal to alpha, gamma, beta, theta, delta, whatever you want you can take. So I will take it as alpha. So then what happens is that if this length, take it off and put it here, you will get the triangle, which is the force triangle or the vector triangle. The shape is not a triangle, not that point. So I will show it separately for a better understanding. This is the resultant reaction and the normal reaction that's making an angle alpha with the resultant reaction, and apart from that, what do we have? The frictional force, same length, take it, cut it and bring it above, put it. We have seen that the resultant reaction is making an angle alpha with the normal reaction. The frictional force is horizontal. Cut this frictional force, paste it here. That's what I have done. So for this angle, it becomes the opposite side. Tan alpha is opposite side by base. So you will get the frictional force divided by base, that is the normal reaction. Frictional force is equal to mu into Rn. The body already has been said to be in limiting equilibrium. So we will get frictional force mu into Rn, and then Rn and Rn will get cancelled. So frictional force, the coefficient of friction will be left out. So you will get tan alpha is equal to coefficient of friction. What does that mean? That if alpha be the angle of a friction, then tangent of that angle is equal to coefficient of friction. Tangent of angle of friction equal to coefficient of friction. So remember, it's a very simple equation but quite important. Angle of a friction only will be given. Find tangent of that. That result, put it equal to mu. Otherwise you cannot solve the problem. There are many questions like that. Then there is one more small bit left out, and that is the angle of repose. So to bring that into account, let us consider an inclined plane on which you have got a body placed and is in limiting equilibrium by itself. See here, I am increasing the angle and the body is in limiting equilibrium. I am increasing the angle more and more. Still it is in limiting equilibrium. At one point of time it will start moving. Up till that the body is at rest. When it is about to move, it is in limiting equilibrium. So if you don't apply any force, then also the body is in limiting equilibrium. So a body can be in limiting equilibrium by itself without any outside force for an inclined plane. So then, that is the situation. See, from outside no force is acting. Because of the weight, if you divide it in this direction, I have shown it separately. Weight, that is equal to mg cos theta. Then that is one. And apart from that, if you take it on the other side, this side it is cos, on the other side it will be sin, mg sin theta. That is what already we have studied. So what we now have is that Rn will balance the opposing force, which is mg cos theta. So that is what we have taken already. Mg cos theta is equal to the normal reaction. All right. So normal reaction is equal to mg cos theta. And we know that inclined to the plane, just now we have seen it, that mg cos theta this side, and for this at 90 degrees it will be mg sin theta. That will balance the frictional force. So mg sin theta will be equal to frictional force, and we know frictional force for limiting equilibrium will be equal to mu r, and mu r means that is equal to mu into, just now we studied, is equal to mg cos theta. Mg will get cancelled, we will get sin theta by cos theta is equal to mu, and we have already studied, see there, that mu is equal to tan alpha. Tan alpha, right. Sin theta by cos theta is tan theta. If tan alpha is equal to tan theta, then the angle theta is called the angle of repose. So if the definition, or if the question is, what is angle of repose? The angle of repose for an inclined plane is the angle with the horizontal when a body is in limiting equilibrium. Then the angle of repose will be also equal to angle of friction. Right. So the board has to be rubbed out before proceeding further. Now that with this, the entire theory on friction has been completed, so problems straight away.